Welcome to another week of 52 Weeks of Prospecting Success. Today we're going to talk a little bit about how to get past gatekeepers. The first thing I like to think about and realize is that there are multiple gatekeepers I'm going to interact with on my road to reaching a prospect. One is the operator, and the other is likely the executive assistant for that prospect. While I treat them differently, there is one thing in common. I need to be polite to both. If I think that it's not going to get through the organization, that I'm being a little rude to one and nice to another, I'm wrong, and it's probably going to come back to hurt my process in the future. So I want to be polite. I will say when tackling the operator, I tend to be a little more succinct in my description. I'm not going to tell them all of the whys behind the reason for my call because they don't interact with that prospect and their executive on a daily basis and aren't going to know their key priorities. So I'm not going to share all of the reasons why I want to meet with them. I'm going to be a lot more direct about transferring me to the office. If I ask to be directed to that person, I always want to use the shortened version of their name. And if I'm having trouble still getting connected, then I will just ask for their office or their executive assistant. So make sure to capture that executive assistant name because it can be very helpful for you. Once I've gotten through the operator to the executive assistant, now the needs are a little bit different. Most executive assistants know their executives very well. They know their priorities. They run their schedule. They know what they're trying to get accomplished. They know the key competitors and what's strategically happening in the organization. Most of them have a really solid pulse on all of that information. So I have to realize that the same messaging points I might use to the key executive I'm targeting can be just as valuable to the executive assistant. So use those messaging points. Make sure to tell her how you're working with other competitors and other executives in the prospect's role of who you're trying to reach. That will be something that will resonate with that executive assistant and make her feel like you're a lot more credible. Finally, when talking with those executive assistants, it's important to find a nice way to say, I'm not going to give up, especially when you know that prospect is a key prospect to your sales process. A nice way to be able to say that to an executive assistant is to say, I understand that it's your role to work with Jim's calendar. However, I've identified that Jim is an important person to speak with because we've worked with so many other executives in his role in companies just like yours. So I'm willing to put the time and effort to reach Jim. Can you help provide some guidance as the best way to do that? Executive assistants like to provide help and like to provide guidance. Use that to your advantage a little bit. Be polite, ask for their assistance, and kindly and politely let them know that you're not willing to give up so easily. Thank you for joining us for another week of 52 Weeks of Prospecting Success. Don't forget to hashtag your questions to hashtag 52weekSDR. Make sure to follow us on YouTube as well as LinkedIn. Happy calling, smart prospecting.